Hey guys, 22 Plinkster here. First, let me apologize for not uploading in a very long time. Well, here in Middle Tennessee, back in end of May, all the way through June, well, most of the way through June, we had cicadas. And if you've ever been around a bunch of cicadas, it is ear-piercing, deafening sounds. I'm gonna show you a clip right about now. That is what I listened to for almost 5 weeks. So there's no way that I'm gonna watch a video with that stuff in the background, so I wouldn't expect you guys to do it. So anyways, saying all of that, now we're back into making videos. And in front of me, I have a Volquartsen Oryx. Now this is a relatively new configuration of rifle that Volquartsen has put out in the past probably year or two. And this is their bench rest semi-automatic. Now they make a Summit that is, you know, traditionally going to shoot like a bolt action, but this is a semi-automatic. And if you're unfamiliar with 22 long rifles and how they shoot and why they shoot and all this other stuff, typically 9 times out of 10, a bolt action is going to be a little bit more accurate than a semi-automatic when it comes to rimfire anyways. And the reason being for that is when it's semi-automatic, a lot of the gas or some of the gas when you shoot actually actuates the bolt. So sometimes there could just be a few feet per second off, making that bolt slide back, causing a little bit larger groups downrange. With a bolt action rifle, you don't have that. And I tell people all the time, if you can find a semi-automatic rifle that shoots about 1.25 inch group at 100 yards, you've got a good shooter. If you have a bolt action that shoots 1-inch groups or MOA at 100 yards, you have a very accurate bolt action. But in front of me is Volquartsen's, I guess, answer to the bench rest community when pertaining to rimfire in a semi-automatic. Now, this Oryx is an MDT chassis, and you have a cheek riser that is fully adjustable. You can actually buy spacer plates to change your length of pull. And it has an overmolded handle right here, so it fits your hand really well if you want to grip it or if you want to hold your thumb up here when you're shooting. You do have a ambi magazine release here on both sides, which is really, really nice. And you have your snake fluted barrel, which is kind of the staple when pertaining to the Oryx platform by Volquartsen. You have your slots right here on the bottom so you can mount your bipod, your laser, banana, flashlight, whatever you want to mount down here. Now, the thing that kind of sets Volquartsen apart than other companies that kind of make a good semi-automatic 1022 is the receivers, their triggers, their extractors, so on and so forth. The receiver here is milled from one piece of stainless steel. Pick rail on top of here is milled into the receiver, so you don't have a two-piece section. So you're not going to have any wiggle between your rail and also your receiver. Your bolt is coated, you have a titanium firing pin, and an extractor is tuned at Volquartsen to make sure that your rifle is going to run and run properly. So I've talked a little bit about it. What I'm going to do is I've got some targets down range at 100 yards. Most people shoot accuracy with 22s at 50, but I think you can really tell what a 22 can do at 100. So, and it's kind of better because usually if you shoot a 1-inch group at 100, you know that you can shoot usually a 1/2-inch group at 50 yards. So I've got some targets set up down range. I'm going to get my trigger cam on and we're just going to do some plinking. And then after that, I want to see how tight I can get some groups out of the Volquartsen Oryx. Alrighty, I got my trigger cam set here. I'm recording down range. I'm shooting some Federal Gold Medal Ultra Match here. This stuff hasn't been made in years, but it's the only match ammunition that I have. So shooting a match rifle, I want to shoot match ammunition. And it's very important to, no matter if you buy this rifle or any kind of match rifle, if you buy 50 rounds of a lot of different kind of ammunition, whether it be Ely, Lapua, RWS, any of that stuff out there to make sure what your rifle likes to shoot. So, all right, I'm recording downrange 100 yards, and usually I would be shooting a suppressor on here, but I see in the comments a lot of times that people say, hey, I don't have a suppressor's not legal where I live, whatever have you. Can you just do some groups and shooting without the suppressor. So I'm gonna show a clip right about now of me shooting this rifle with a Banish 22 suppressor. It's quiet, okay? But for group's sake and to appease a lot of you guys, I want to shoot groups without a suppressor. So here we go. All right, down range. All right, I'm gonna move up here. Okay, there's a 4-inch plate right there at 100. Let's just see. All right, I hit it. That's pretty easy. So right on top of each other. Right here is a 2-inch plate. Oh, knocked it off of there. All right, so it shoots at least 2-inch groups. Just get the rifle warmed up. I've put probably about 1,000 rounds through this rifle at this point. And, but that was from a cold bore. All right, now I've got your know your limit target. Let's just shoot it a few times. Hey, wait, now that he's covering that up, we'll have to go with the smaller one here. Nailed it. Nailed it. All right. Well, I like it set up behind my Caldwell Prairie Dog right here. So if I do miss, I can see where I missed. But I'm not going to miss. Oh, I just killed my know your limit target. All right. Let's just finish out the mag right here on, on the Prairie Dog. So, all right, we know it shoots. It shoots very well. I didn't miss anything on your know your limit target with a few rounds that I put on there, and the 2-inch and the 4-inch. So now let me reload some of this Federal Gold Medal Ultra Match, and let's do some grouping downrange at 100 yards. And like I mentioned before, if it shoots less than 1 inch, I'm happy. Let's load up 10 more rounds here. And while I'm loading up, let's talk about the optic a little bit. This is a Mueller optic, okay? Mueller's been around for quite a long time, and I have been just recently introduced to them. And honestly, if you get this Volquartsen rifle, you probably won't have a lot of money left over. You kind of need to save a little bit of money on optics. This is actually a really good choice. This is their target model. It's 6x24. It has your side focus, your illuminated reticle, even has 0 stop, and it has a mill reticle inside of it. Yep. And you know, for 325, 350 bucks, you really can't go wrong. It's shockproof, fogproof, and all that other good stuff. So they make good optics without breaking the bank. So for a rimfire, it is perfect. So, all right, let's load up the rifle here. Let's turn my trigger cam on where you guys can hopefully see what I'm doing. I just shot some groups off camera to make sure this thing was somewhat zeroed in, because I think it's funny. Sometimes when I do these kind of videos and people are like, you didn't even hit bullseye, you didn't even hit bullseye, the rifle's no good. I'm like, well, you can always adjust your scope. You know, we're shooting for groups here. And while we're on that same subject, I am shooting off a lead sled, and a lot of you don't like when I shoot off a lead sled, but this is why I'm doing it. I've established for the past 13 years that I can shoot, okay? With trick shots, everything else. When I'm doing a video like this, and it's on this particular rifle or any kind of rifle, I use a lead sled to take all the human factor out of it. So I want to show exactly what the rifle can do, not what I can do. So there's a helicopter overhead, but that's okay. We're still going to shoot. All right, I got to get to the chopper. All right, I got to take these glasses off where I can see. All right, 5-shot group, here we go. Make sure the rifle's not canted. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I don't know if you guys can see that group or not, but that looks about like probably about a 3/4 inch group, maybe a 0.6 inch group. I'll retrieve it here in a minute. And let me explain something to you. I forgot to even start my trigger cam over here, but let me explain something to you, the difference between a bolt action and a semi-automatic. I tell people all the time, if they have a bolt action 22 that will shoot sub MOA at 100 yards, keep it. No matter if the rifle costs $200 or if the rifle costs $2,000. A sub MOA bolt action rifle at 100 yards is really good, okay? If you can get a sub MOA 22 semi-automatic rifle that will shoot less than 1-inch groups, you've really got something, because it's much easier to get accuracy out of a bolt gun than it is on a semi-automatic, especially when pertaining to rimfire. So, because rimfire, of course, like any semi-automatic, it uses some of the gases to work the bolt. And sometimes that bullet exiting the barrel and working that bolt can mean 5 to 10 feet per second difference on the velocity of that bullet, which will sometimes cause inaccuracies. So, but I've got 5 more rounds loaded up here. Let's turn this on now that you guys can see. I forgot to turn it on the first 5-shot group, but I've got a camera downrange. Let's shoot another 5-shot group. Just a little bit more. Again, just trying to take all the human factor out of this. That's about an inch group. Had a couple in the same hole and had those 2. That's pretty typical. I've shot a lot of rounds through this rifle, and my average groups are about 0.7, okay? And it will flat out shoot to be in a semi-automatic platform. And I'm trying to think to myself if I've ever reviewed for accuracy a Volquartsen 22 semi-automatic on my channel. I know I've done like 22 mag and 17 HMR, but for accuracy, I don't know if I've ever done a review to see the accuracy of the 22 long rifle in this platform. So if you are going to be a competition shooter, now I'm not talking about speed shooting, okay? I'm talking laying from prone, and you want a semi-automatic rifle that you want to be able to get on your targets very, very quick, because when you're shooting competition, time is money. You may want to look at the Oryx. It will drive tacks, and it is a beautiful looking rifle. Guys, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions whatsoever, put them in the comments below. Until next time, y'all be safe and keep plinking.